In this week's episode of 2 Minute Tuesday with Hondon Valley Homes, we're going to look at the option of renting before you buy and how it can be a good and also sometimes not such a good idea. Welcome to episode 29 of 2 Minute Tuesday with Hondon Valley Homes. Now, one of the most common pieces of advice that I see on property information portals and property Facebook groups is advice from people saying that it's a great idea to rent for a year or so before you choose to buy. Now, hopefully in this video, I'm going to give you some of the pros as well as the cons if you choose to rent before you buy, as there are often unexpected consequences whichever option you choose. Now, moving to Spain from your country of origin is a huge decision to make. Not only do you have to think about the area, the language, the property itself, the climate, the access to amenities. You need to do research in order to check out things like work prospects, school for the children, access to supermarkets, medical facilities, the proximity of airports, and even the local beaches. Now, all of this can be done nowadays with a plethora of forums, blogs, video traveller reviews, things like this, but nothing actually beats having your feet on the ground. Now, in my opinion, you have two possible options in order to get it right the first time. Now, number one is to make multiple trips to Spain, find the area to fall in love with, research within that area to get the ideal location and your property. Now, this obviously could involve several trips to Spain and the associated costs of accommodation, flights, car hire. The alternative, if it's available to you, would be to come to Spain for 6 or 12 months and rent, and then maybe move areas and do the same again. And then you can find the area that you can truly fall in love with and not make the mistake of purchasing in possibly a non-suitable area. Now, this is great if you've already retired or if you've sold your property in your home country and you're able to spend 6 or 12 months looking for your dream home in the sun. You can then use your rental property as a base for exploring the area, meeting the local people, talking about the reality of living in the area, and this is the perfect way to learn about the area. You can view as many potential properties and get a better idea of the pricing on the properties. However, if you go along this route, you need to bear a few things in mind before making the final decision. Now, like many clients, you would think that it's very easy to rent a property in Spain. After all, it's a country full of holiday rentals, but it's not always the case. There are many clients chasing very few good quality properties. And if you're coming to rent something and you want all the modern conveniences of fast internet and, say, UK TV, these may not be available on shorter rentals, or you would have to sign up for a longer contract. If you bring your car, will it be insured for it being out of the country for such a long period? Will it need an MOT or a technical inspection while you're away? Because this can't be done in Spain. Also, what about your health coverage? Are you going to need more coverage than the EHIC will provide? There are lots of things that you need to take into account. Now, a nice 3-bed, 2-bath furnished villa with a private pool will cost about €800 a month, plus the utilities, plus the security bond and the agent fee. If you're renting for 12 months, then your cost will be roughly €12,000. And remember that these costs will rise if you're looking to rent over a shorter period in the high season, as a villa that normally commands an €800 per month rental on a 12-month period will cost about €800 a week during the high season. Now, the simple fact is that property prices are rising in Spain. So whilst you're paying your €12,000 in rental costs for the period of a year, property prices will be rising. And in the past 12 months, as an example, we've seen the cheapest 3-bed, 2-bath property with a private pool in La Montañasa raise from €150,000 to €165,000. So this would make the real term cost of renting for a year, when you take into account the rental cost and the cost of properties increasing, to somewhere in the region of €27,000. So this is a cost you do need to bear in mind when you're thinking of renting for a longer period. Now, if you choose to rent before you buy, what will you do if you find your dream home early on in the rental contract? You will need to fulfill your rental contract and any contracts that you may have for utilities or internet, etc. So it bears to take that into account when you are thinking of renting. Now, the last thing I'm trying to say in this video is not to rent before you choose to buy. Like many people, I actually think it's a good idea, especially if you don't know the area very well. However, my advice would be to perhaps come out for a short break to each of the areas first and then get a feel for those, taking into account everything that I've mentioned earlier in the video. And then you can decide on how best to proceed. If you found this video useful and informative, then please let us know. You can subscribe by clicking on the little icon in the corner of the screen somewhere down here, and there's also an icon that you can click on at the end of the video. If you're thinking of buying or selling, or maybe you even have a question that you'd like answering in the 2 Minute Tuesday, then please drop us a line on the details that you can see on the screen now. Once again, thank you for taking the time to watch 2 Minute Tuesday with Hondon Valley Homes, and we really do look forward to seeing you next week. Hasta luego.